The only reason I am wearing this scarf right now is because I spilled some water on my shirt when I was brushing my teeth just a little bit ago. And I just didn't feel like changing. And now I'm like looking at it and I feel like it doesn't cover it. I don't know, I'm self-conscious. What's up guys, I'm CandidCrandell and today I'm going to be talking about mental health awareness. For those of you who don't know, May is actually Mental Health Awareness Month. Most of my life I have struggled with both anxiety and depression, and I didn't start getting help for either of those things until I was 20 years old and living in New York City. So I spent 20 years prior to that dealing with it on my own and not talking about it. The first thing that a lot of people who struggle with mental illness deal with is figuring out when it's time to get help, because there's a lot of keeping it to yourself and thinking that you can deal with it yourself and that because it's emotions you should be able to handle it. I did that, and it really took me moving to a new city and starting school that really kind of pushed me to my bottom, where I was like, you know what, I am struggling with this and I should talk to someone about it because I don't think it's supposed to be this way. I always used to tell myself that I would get anxious about things because I just cared about it and I was a perfectionist, and that was something that like teachers and adults had all ingrained into me. Oh, well, you just care about your grades and you care about school, and it was more than caring about it. It was like an obsession. I had to learn the difference between doing things well in a healthy way and getting yourself stuck in a rut of anxiety that is actually detrimental to your overall process. I was like waking up in the morning feeling like I could not go to my classes that I loved. It felt like this is starting to take away the one thing that was always fun. And so I guess that was my bottom. Once you decide that you want to reach out to someone and talk about your feelings and what's going on, you may then be feeling really daunted by the idea of, okay, well now how do I do that? It can be a scary feeling of like, oh, I need help, but I don't know where to go for help. If you are currently in middle school or high school or college, any kind of school setting, know that you can go to your guidance counselor. For a lot of people, talking to like parents and friends and people that they have close personal relationships with is sometimes the hardest, because it feels like you're admitting like a massive flaw or saying something that might make them want to like not be around you anymore. And so sometimes it's easier to not necessarily involve them in that first step of the process. That was kind of my experience with it, but everyone is different. And so if your family is a huge part of your support system, definitely talk to them, and your parents can help you find someone to talk to as well. I think the reaching out is kind of like the hardest part, the anxiety that you get before making the call to make an appointment. As soon as you get it over with though and it's scheduled, you're gonna feel like this relief. At least that's how it was for me. One of the most important things that we can all do during Mental Health Awareness Month, and all the time, ideally, is to be more open to talking about mental illness and not placing such a stigma on going to therapy or taking medication, because shame is such a big part of it, and that's why so many people suffer in silence. They're worried about what people are going to think of them, and they don't want people to think of them differently. I was very wary of telling people what was going on with me because I didn't want them to look at me differently, especially being in acting school. Well, you're gonna have to get over that in order to act. And it wasn't that simple, and it wasn't about that. My anxiety wasn't necessarily about acting in any way. I don't really have anxiety about that. It feels hard sometimes to tell people about what's going on because you don't want a label put on you, and you don't want to be seen as only your mental illness, because you're not only your mental illness. It is a part of who you are, but it does not define who you are. All this month I'm going to be talking about some of my experiences with therapy and medication, just mental health in general, and my journey towards it. Let me know down in the comments if there is anything that you want to talk about mental health related. I don't necessarily have any like parameters or specific questions today. I just want it to be a safe, awesome space for everyone to discuss. If you don't already, you can follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, Blogspot, and Instagram, username CandidCrandell. I put out videos every Tuesday and Thursday on my channel, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of them. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you again on Tuesday. Bye.